Hey guys, this is John.
And Austin.
It's another episode of the Meatgistics podcast.
Wipe
Before we get
wipe
into
that
anything
smile
else,
off your face.
before we get into anything else, like what's on people's heads, we've got two different proteins up here that we used our Firecracker Rub on. We're doing this because the weekend of the 29th, so the 28th, 29th, and 30th, we're going to run a special where if you order an Excalibur shaker and add a Firecracker Rub to your cart, the Firecracker Rub will be free. Plus, we're also doing free shipping with the coupon code over $75 that whole weekend. We're not going to tell you what that is yet, but we've already had some of these shrimp. Austin, try one of these shrimp. They are unbelievable. This might be my favorite way to cook shrimp from now on. You can't beat that.
That's amazing.
Cooked in butter with some Firecracker Rub. Then we've got some burgers here that I mixed in Firecracker Rub with. So we are definitely going to sweat a little bit, because this seasoning has a little bit more heat than I remembered it. Plus, I was out in front of a hot grill on a muggy day. Nice hair.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I'm trying a new thing.
New look?
Yeah, new look.
New look. Austin finally has worn the toupee, wig, whatever we want to call it.
He looks like a Karen or something. Like,
It is a woman's wig, apparently. I didn't know that.
It is a woman's wig. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
so I guess then wigs are for women and toupees are for men. You know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess you don't think about it until you have to. I guess. Are the glasses women's as well? Did you have to wear those, or is that an Austin?
That's an Austin original.
That's just him. Okay.
So this Heinz dill pickle, I'm not a big fan of. I was very excited for this, and I put it on this burger, and I wish I hadn't.
I gotta try it. The burgers, it's good. I gotta try it with the ketchup though.
It's nowhere near as good as the shrimp.
Looks like a game show host in Korea.
In Korea.
Yeah, big time.
That is interesting.
What is a Korean...
respected game show host in Korea?
Isn't that where Most Extreme Challenge was from? I'm pretty sure. Do you remember Most Extreme Challenge?
Yeah. Oh, do I remember?
Okay. You were a prime time age for that.
Oh yeah. Awake at midnight. He was like, "What's on the Man channel or Spike TV?"
My favorite was when they had to run through doors, and sometimes there would be just a solid wood thing on the other side, and they'd go.
Oh yeah, that's the best. I'm more simple. Like any ball falling from a high area, and then they're just stuck in mud, and they just have to try to catch it, and their face just splats.
Much better with the shrimp than the burger.
My favorite thing is like no one's talking. You're like, hold on.
Hold on. Everybody stop. Wait just one second. Don't talk. Yeah. I would absolutely take the shrimp over the burger.
You're not gonna like my comment.
That it's undercooked?
Well, it may or may not be undercooked. Depends. I mean, it's definitely not cooked to 160. But to be honest, I rarely cook burgers to 160. I cook to Appendix A on burgers, but it's not salty enough.
Oh,
that's like it's one of the things I love about this, like this seasoning. So you got salt as your third ingredient. Garlic and onion are the first two, and then it's I don't know where in here you get to like red pepper because it's spicy.
Why do I have that much spice from the shrimp? Patrick, you have to come get one of these shrimp before I eat them all. Well, that's what I'm telling you.
But I was
sooner rather than later.
I'm right behind you, but I was funny. Austin saying something that's too salty is like me saying it doesn't taste enough like bologna.
He said it's not salty enough.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Yes.
Difference is you got surface seasoning and this you mixed in.
Yeah.
So the flavor is good, but it needs more salt being in beef because beef is also denser and just a different protein than shrimp. So I think it needs a little more salt to really hold its own in the burger. It's good, but the shrimp.
Make sure you grab a plate, though.
It is amazing in the shrimp.
Yeah, the shrimp is incredible. Allie, would you like some? Just come grab some. You don't need to. She doesn't know what to do with her hands.
She doesn't want to show her small hands.
She doesn't know what to do with her hands. Doing that weird little, yes, I would like some. Like when you teach a baby, this means more, right? Don't people teach their baby? Or more?
Yeah, my kids, we taught them that, and it's amazing. Like, they don't even think about it anymore. We're with Allie, I don't even know if she noticed, but she was given something to Gemma the other day, and Gemma's just instantly like doing this. She just wants more.
But it also seems like a thing an excited child would do. Yes.
Anxious, nervous habit.
Yeah. Or happy. I don't know. Could be happy. All right. Pull up your OneNote and click on that first one that it's called Winsipedia. Have you looked at this yet?
No.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Did I lose my mute button, by the way?
Oh, yeah. Probably fell down.
Oh, it just fell. Okay.
We didn't take it away from you. You're the last person we would take it away from. All right. So scroll up. Yeah, it's that one right there. Winsipedia. Right? Allie just said this is officially her favorite seafood seasoning. I don't even think it's necessarily designed for seafood. But I was looking at what people on Meatgistics have used it for. They're using it for, some people are using it on Brussels sprouts, lots of people on shrimp, a couple people on burgers, but shrimp is absolutely the way to go. Perfect. Yep. And cooking it in butter, shrimp and butter always go together well. Like it's hard to mess that up. But still, I cooked it, so pretty amazing. All right, so Austin and I are looking at something called Winsipedia. What is Winsipedia? It is where you can take any two college, pro, whatever teams, put them up next to each other, and they will show you who has the better winning percentage, who has more Heisman winners, who has more everything. The only thing that Kansas State beats Notre Dame at is conference championships, because we're not in a conference. Other than that, everything is coming up golden.
K-State sucked at football forever until 1990. So, I mean, to be expected.
Okay. So look from about here on. We had that 1 year where we apparently didn't even play football.
You cheated and you had all your wins vacated.
Didn't play football.
You cheated.
Listen, everybody's cheating now. It's ridiculous.
No, now it's all legal.
It's stupid. They should give Reggie or Bush's Heisman back.
I thought they did.
Oh, did they? I don't keep up on that stuff.
Unless I saw something that was a fake story, but I swear I saw a news story. He got his Heisman back. But
if it's not Notre Dame, it's college football. I'm not that big. I don't really care that much. But I thought that was funny. It made me laugh. All right.
If you do, hold on. But if you do look since 1990, if you zoom in on that, look at how many times the purple is over the gold.
Yeah.
Like over the past 30 to 40 years, the programs are almost identical.
Except that we've been to 3 playoffs and you've been to 0. Right. So that's unfortunate.
Some of that is just shady. You can't no one can sit there and tell me that the CFP committee has always made the greatest decisions. And before that, the BCS, it's been a flawed system because there hasn't been the right system in place. There hasn't been enough teams allowed. Notre Dame always has a cheat to get in. But nonetheless.
I started dunking my burger in the butter from the shrimp, and it's amazing. I just assumed you were talking nonsense, so I moved right on.
I'm hoping we're going to post the recipe on this because I need this.
Yeah, it was super simple to do. I mean, heat your pan. We did it on the side burner of the woodwind. I'm sweating like crazy.
You're glistening.
I glisten. I'm surprised you're not with that ridiculous wig on.
Oh, it's so hot. Oh, I just twitched.
For anyone who doesn't know, do you want to explain why you have to wear the wig?
Because K-State ended lower than Notre Dame in the last football season. But, and just a reminder, the year before, K-State ended ahead of Notre Dame, and you had to eat what was supposed to be a plate full of mashed potatoes was only half a plate of
You were supposed to wear that 4 months ago, and I gave you the grace to pick your time when you wanted to.
Because you took too long
and it was supposed to be 3 days in a row, and we amended that to just 3 random podcast days.
I also figured that that's going to be better in the long run. It's 3 podcast days. If you want to go back to 3 days in a row, I'll wear it for the next 3 days.
No, I'm not here tomorrow and Friday.
Well, your choice now.
I understand how excited I was when I walked in and saw that.
I forgot to send you guys the video. So I set up in my office and recorded. So I'll probably have to share it out to Meatgistics as well. And I sent John an email and was like, John, I need you for a few minutes. Come meet me in my office. John didn't respond to that email for like 4 hours.
What's going on?
So I knew Allie was here somewhere. So I sent her a message and was like, hey, go get John, come to my office for a couple minutes. Allie thought I needed something serious.
So did I. The way Allie grabbed me, I was like, okay.
I even told Allie and gave her a heads up this morning. I went to help her move, and I gave her the toupee or the wig, and I'm like, I'm wearing it today. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. She forgot in the hour from one place to the other. But I got their reactions as they came in. So.
I have to say, it honestly, my initial goal with it was to make it look so good that it was going to cause you emotional pain when you have to take it off.
Emotional damage.
Basically at that level. Like, I think that looks legitimately good. If it was brown, it'd look awesome. Allie's saying it's too much of a comes out.
It needs combed. I forgot a comb.
Yeah, whatever. Looks awesome. I love it. Very happy with how this bet turned out. I'm very excited for our bet this year. Do you have any thoughts on what it is?
I don't know. We need to poll the audience. If anybody has any ideas, feel free to submit them.
Because this was your idea. I said we have to let our hair grow out.
I said it kind of jokingly, but neither of us wanted to do it, and so we were like, well, if neither of us want to do it, that's probably the bet that needs to be done.
That's the one that needs to be done.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, somebody can post a good one. You or I come up with something. We'll see. We got 70 days, give or take,
until it starts,
till week 0. So,
yeah, we start the season off against Texas A&M. You guys play perennial powerhouse Eastern Tennessee State or some nonsense.
Oh,
followed by Tulane. I thought you were going to have a hard schedule this year.
It's
seems honestly very easy.
We don't have that hard of a schedule this year, which is it's going to be great because we should be really good this year. We should be even better next year because hardly anybody of huge importance will be graduating unless they leave in the transfer portal. That whole thing.
You're saying not this year, but next year you'll be even better.
So like I've been looking at it of like this year we should be good, but next year we should be really good. Our schedule for next year is much harder though than this year.
Who do you play?
So, this year?
No, next year.
Next year? I don't remember. I don't remember. There's too many teams in the Big 12 now that you don't play everyone every year, and so it's like this year. I know we don't have to play Utah. That's a
decent game.
Case
you guys, that's tough.
Depending upon which book you look at, odds makers have Utah, Kansas State, one of the two as the favorite to win the conference.
Okay.
So the fact that we don't have to play each other probably means that you're going to see those two teams in the conference championship.
Most
game.
likely,
but that's the biggest thing. We still have to play. Unfortunately, like Oklahoma State, they've been the best in the Big 12.
You play them this year, though.
Yeah, we do.
That's your toughest game this year by far.
We'll play them next year too. Got to play them all the time.
So we open against Texas A&M, then a couple easy games, tons of home games. I don't know how we pulled that off, but oh my Lord, if you look at our schedule, it is almost exclusively home games.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know how we did that. Then Florida State and USC. Those are our 3 hardest games for sure. But
you only had 2: Florida State, USC. Was it?
Texas
A&M.
Yeah.
Oh no, Texas A&M is always way overrated.
Yeah, that's kind of fair.
You don't beat them, and you will deserve to lose the bet immediately.
We can lose that game and still beat you guys. It's fine.
No, you can't. You lose that game, you're done.
What happens if we ended up somehow going to a bowl game and playing you guys? Yeah, it was somewhat close.
We may have to put the bet on pause and not be the last CFP ranking. We may have to do just whoever wins that game.
Yeah. Oh, clearly it would be that. Yeah.
It would be epic.
No, it would be ridiculous. We'd go, right?
Bragging rights for all time. It'd be hard not to. To be honest,
that might be more fun. Actually, is bring it in here and live stream us watching it together.
That would be good. That would be better than going because, to be honest, this year is going to be very hard for me to go because I have a child that's due like January 1st. So I won't be.
You're
traveling.
not going anywhere.
Congratulations!
By the way,
the end of December is going to be a non-negotiable stay at home.
Have you said that yet? Have you told people that yet?
Not really publicly. So I don't know. My wife might not like that I said that, but whatever.
Congratulations! That's awesome. Very exciting for you. All right, go back to your screen. I want you to look at this map and explain something to me because I am beyond confused. This is a recall map. It's in OneNote. And it has where there's active recalls and where there's not active recalls. This is on the highest alert. It's consequences of death, which is very much a oversell here because it's just a couple of dairy products and it's not like a huge amount. It's a couple thousand pounds. But why does it say recall active, no public holiday? Don't go to that. Go to my screenshot.
I'm going to the article because I'm
confused. To see if it's still doing it?
At what this really means.
I can't figure out what they mean by that. Like, could it just be multiple different maps that got posted somehow? Because it does say recall active. Yeah, now it says recall active, and they're different colors. But on that, it says recall active, no public holiday. On some of them, it said some observance. So it must have been a different map, right?
Maybe they screwed something up.
They forgot to change something.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, that freaked me out for a while. It's like, why would a recall require a public holiday, let alone a private holiday? Excuse me. What year do you think the Heisman started?
I don't know. Probably like 64.
35.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that old.
1935. It's probably when Notre Dame won the majority of their Heismans.
I haven't won one for a long time.
That's accurate. How many has Kansas State won?
Oh, don't.
It's none, right?
If it's not recent history, it's all zero.
It's zero.
You know it's none. We looked it up
Yeah,
earlier.
it's none. It's not any. So, I'm not going to tell you to watch your tone, but, watch what you say. We're clearly on the higher mount. Patrick's doing something.
We could have.
When I do this, you're eating food loudly.
Oh, sorry. This shrimp's so good, man.
We could have or should have won one in 2012.
But you didn't.
We got gypped.
But you didn't.
Yeah.
All right. America's best beef comes from Catonsville in Baltimore County. I want to argue that very strongly, but there seems to be some good evidence that is where a large portion of the truly highest quality restaurant quality beef is coming out of. And it makes sense when you think about Baltimore, easy shot to DC, easy shot to Philly, New York, all of that. So they have really good aging rooms there. And the incredibly popular yet overrated Ruth's Chris. Have you ever eaten at a Ruth's Chris?
Nope.
Have you ever heard of it?
Nope.
Dude, I think I have once, and I was like, I've never even. What are you talking about? You're taking yourself way too seriously, Ruth. I was very, very disappointed, I think. But
yeah,
can't remember either way. So,
from my understandings, it started in like the DC area, and then it's kind of grown from there. I saw something the other day said there's over 100 Ruth's Chris in the U.S. Had you asked me that a week ago, I would have said no. Ruth's Chris is just one steakhouse in like DC. No idea it was like that.
Sounds like a Western wear company or something. Where'd you get that hat and boots? Oh, over at Ruth Chris. Or
where'd you get that shirt you were wearing the other day at the funeral?
No idea.
No. Okay.
My wife bought it for me. It's like
looked like it was a Cavender's.
It's like an athletic material.
Okay.
It's weird. It's like it's an athletic material button up. It's funky. It's really nice.
Yeah,
it's really
nice.
really cooling.
Yeah.
Dude, you can work out in anything nowadays.
I wasn't patting you for comfort. I was wanting to feel that material. It's like, what is this? This is good. I like it.
Yeah, what was that? Was that Gorgax?
Yes, come on. Let me try. But no, very interesting that, I tend to at least think of beef, I think in the middle of the country. Or I think of like really really boutique-y places in these big cities, not Baltimore.
Did they say where they get their beef from, though?
All over the place.
Okay.
It's not like a single...
Yeah, I thought there were crab cakes out there.
Right? That's what they're for. Crab cakes and blue crabs. Like crabs in general.
Well,
of all kinds.
And football. Right. That's what Maryland does.
Yeah, I just don't like the Baltimore Ravens, though.
No, it's fine.
It's not. It's always annoyed me.
It's it's fine. Yeah, I mean, they're good. If anyone would be annoyed by the Baltimore Ravens, it'd be the Titans fan in here. So,
the Washington fan? You had to start another organization that close to us?
No.
Why?
I don't know.
Move away.
Oh.
It's like the Giants and the Jets. They hate each other, even though they're different conferences.
Remember regionals, locale does not matter at all on Earth.
What
So
is
it doesn't
that?
even matter. That's me saying it does not matter.
Talking about college football, going back to college football.
Yeah, college football earlier.
I don't think the region matters anymore, though, because travel is so easy. Like back when travel was tough, that is one thing.
I think we can tie two things we were just talking together.
Go ahead.
Each region of the United States, what protein is it known for? So we have to help.
It's an excellent question. Pacific Northwest, seafood.
For sure.
Southwest, I would say vegetables. Like when I think of California, I think of like
fresh,
like
colorful,
like bell peppers, avocados, things like that. Northeast, I would think dairy. Okay. Middle of the country, I think beef. And the Southeast, I think probably pork and, again, seafood. Does that sound fair? Any of those way off?
I think you crushed it. I mean, I was trying to think of the one that was like way, way far off, but I'm like maybe a sub-different region of the more, other Midwest, I guess you could say, if you broke up the Midwest. Like, what else would they have, like in the Indianas and the Illinois and stuff like that? But I don't know.
Chicken?
Maybe. See, there you go. Oh yeah, we read about where the
up
most
in like
chickens
the Ohio, Indiana area. Like that's where a ton of the chicken comes from.
Even Arkansas, right? Isn't that where Tyson's based out of and stuff like that? So
yeah, it is.
That could even maybe be. So that's
a good question.
That'd be where you draw the region line. Maybe Arkansas is a good Mason-Dixon state. So
come up with a map for that.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Be a good clickbaity article.
Yeah.
How many times you get like articles like that, you could have a little fun with it.
Okay, I like that idea.
Sweet.
Speaking of a little clickbaity thing, I am going far down this John's treasure hunt idea. Have you even heard of this?
No.
Oh my good Lord. Everybody else is kind of like, yeah, good idea. And I'm like, yeah, no, you have no idea how difficult I'm going to make this. I'm going to give away either a 20-pound electric stuffer or a 22 grinder. And it's going to be...
It's like John's Ready Player One is what
it is. John's Ready Player One. Like you are going to have to...
He's the creator and you have like...
Do you know Ready Player One?
A potential world. Okay. It's like any video game ever. You're given a lore. Here's a prize. Find this key. So John has a very clue-heavy thing where there like may or may not be like it unlocks this door and go to this site and this thing does that. Anyways, you just gotta. It's very Cicada 337.
There'll be some pages on Waltons.com that just have random capitalized letters. You're gonna have to figure out what that means. It's gonna be awesome.
Have you started putting this together?
I have started putting this together.
Okay.
But the final prize, like usually when we do the scavenger hunt or the Easter egg hunt, whatever, it's fun, but it's easy, right? We're basically telling you what page to go to next. Like on this, the clues are just like once you figure out the first one, you're still gonna have to figure out what to do with that answer. It's not telling you to go anywhere. So it should be fun.
It's not Pan's Labyrinth. It's John's Labyrinth.
It's John's Labyrinth. Yes.
Interesting.
But should be fun.
I'm
excited.
I might compete.
You are 100% unable to win for a few reasons. One, you own the company. Two, you know my mind way too well. You'll know what half of the things probably mean right away.
Speaking of, if he did have if he did have an alter ego, or this character had a name, what is it?
Oh, you can't do that.
Come on,
you know what you're doing.
I don't know. No. Just I'm not even asking that. I'm asking you what is generic. Like, what would be a funny name to associate with this character?
I can't do that.
Like, he's not an atom or anything?
Oh, he's definitely not an atom.
Awesome.
He's definitely not. He's something much
he looks
more
like a member of the
exotic
Beatles.
than an atom.
He looks like a member of that one band from Wayne's World, the something Beatles. You know?
Yeah. What did you say, Charlie?
He's like a reverse Charlie Brown somehow.
Charlie Brown.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
From Kill Bill.
Well done, Patrick. You tied that together nicely for me without making me do it. I appreciate it.
No, that's funny. I don't know. It's the subtle. Sorry, quit looking at me, dude.
He looks like one of the teachers from that South Korean zombie show. We're all dead here.
Yeah.
In here or something. He looks like one of the teachers.
Me and John always say he looks like the dude from Galaxy Quest. Pick a guy, throw a dart in the movie.
Any one
Galaxy
of the weird
Quest.
aliens.
Yeah.
That's what you look like.
I'm Austin Walton.
That is great.
My Grabthor's hammer.
Oh man.
SNL. Pat? Go.
It's It's
Do that. Let's see if we
Dude, my
we
brothers
nail
always,
this.
my
down.
brothers always made fun of me for that, so I'm glad you're finally taking this on.
You're glad somebody else is getting some of
The pat hate.
the hate for it.
Oh man.
All right, let's move on to
Wait, hold on. What cut
sorry.
of meat does it look like that guy eats though? That's
sirloin. To him is like the best.
you like
steak
it well.
available.
You like it well done,
It's
sir.
like, no, sirloin is all I want.
Or ma'am, should I?
Or yeah,
I'm not quite sure.
no, it's something.
Mister, you wait on the eyes, and then you can. end
I
it
might
on
never
tur.
eat steak again though. This might literally be the only thing I ever eat for the rest of my life.
Clip
No.
that. Hear that? I might never eat steak again.
That's incredible. That is lighting up my taste buds. Like
Don't say
It's
it.
good, but it's still shrimp. Like you're gonna
Like a what?
like it. It just doesn't have the same tenderness and juiciness that steak does. The flavor is good, but there's more to a steak than just the flavor. That is just flavor. Like texture of shrimp is nothing to write home about.
oh, I disagree. I like
Battle versus. In this corner, we have.
Are we saying versus like a perfectly cooked steak? It might not be as good, but I like that
like
texture.
he's saying, he might. We all enjoy a chew, but when you crush a shrimp texture, that also says something about how it was prepared.
Sure.
You can't just set it and forget it with a shrimp, one way or the other, right? 2 gone, 2 under. So I mean, there's something to be said for that.
100%
but I
rather
think-
go overcooked on shrimp than undercooked.
Yeah,
I
for
cannot
sure.
eat an undercooked shrimp.
But like I said, I think we all would 1A steak, 1B shrimp texture. But like I said, nailing the texture, you're a little bit more impressed with the chef, I think.
Thank you, Patrick.
All right, now we can all get along and move on.
Yeah.
Still just gonna disagree.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we tried. We tried, Patrick.
Whatever,
He didn't want to play along.
Jason Walton.
All right. I have to point out, can we? Yeah, I'm going to say this. I was recently at an event where a picture of all of the Walton's kids as they were younger was on screen. Every one of them, and I do mean every one of them, had a fat stage.
Yeah.
Like some way worse than others, and I was shocked at who was the worst.
Classic.
I never thought your older brother was anything other than like perfectly physically fit.
No, he
But,
was the biggest.
he a big dude? Did he
was
play
the
like
biggest.
offensive tackle or something?
Yeah.
Oh, did he really?
Mhm.
Yeah, that would make sense. He
Well,
was huge.
He ate the guard. So.
270?
No, he was over 280. He was
He
He
was
was
a big dude.
Can I
He's
hear
big. He was
290?
he was on the line at Collegiate here in Wichita when Collegiate was really good. They've been good at different times, but he was the smallest guy on the line.
At 280.
Their line, most of their guys were like over 300 pounds. They were huge. They were tall. They were huge. He was the small guy on the line, and he was still that big.
In high school.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, Kansas, you grow them big.
I would have
Cowboys.
wore 280 so incredibly different than that gentleman.
Yes.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
God, I would have looked like a
Well, Cole's
retired
also-
truck driver.
How tall are you?
6 foot, but in high school that was like 5'10" though. So it's like
How tall is Cole?
Probably
6'2"?
6'2", 3".
that's.
2.
I mean, that goes a long way.
It does.
With,
Those
with
extra 2 inches.
80
Yep.
pounds. Yeah.
Absolutely helps. All right, moving on to meat matters. The strange economics of pig meat. Ham prices are down, but bacon's up.
What?
All right, this isn't the main point of this article, but I found it interesting. It said grocery prices rose 1% in the last 12 months, though, or through May.
That's a lie.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in that period, menu prices at full service or sit-down restaurants rose 3.5%. They jumped 4.5% at limited service restaurants, which includes fast food and fast casual joints. All of those numbers are wrong.
Yeah, they're all wrong.
They're all wrong. There's no way you're telling me my grocery bill has only gone up 1%. I broke everything down like 2 weeks ago, and the amount I'm spending on groceries now as a single guy is more than what I was spending 3 years ago. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shopping for 2. I'm shopping for 1 now, and I'm spending more now.
I get so tired of this. I mean, this isn't necessarily what the podcast is about, but it is on the food front of what people tell us. Oh, inflation is this, and it's I can look at it and I tell you it's not, because you can go look and see what prices increase in the service industry, and that's a good recognition of inflation, because if they're charging more, they don't have a set cost per se. They're covering other costs with it and seeing massive increases in different things. Food, groceries, 1%
is insane.
not possible. I can tell you that our grocery bill has gone up a lot more than that. We spend an insane amount on groceries. It's
yeah. Well, with 2 kids and a wife with another one, I can imagine there's a lot of food that gets eaten at that house.
Yeah, they're still little kids,
so they don't eat that much.
They don't eat that much.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, it's gonna get worse.
Like the other day, we ate 2 steaks. I ate 1, and the others shared 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad.
So
if we know what Austin calls his family now,
He hung out with Nicole Kidman.
they're
that's
the
good.
others.
The others.
but so it's not like it's just because of the sheer quantity of food. It's just the food is expensive.
Oh yeah,
Everything is expensive.
Are you mad? I am your daughter.
Terrible movie. Open back up. Okay. Going on in the article, it says it's also possible that bacon prices are not quite as high as they seem because of discounts. What you see more in bacon is a kind of high-low strategy. You'll keep the price high on a normal day and then put it on a super sale. And even if bacon, pork chops, and, taking the long view, ham are getting more expensive, they might still be a cheaper protein option than beef, not to mention restaurant meals. Obviously, well, not always, but beef is almost always going to be more expensive than pork. There may come a day where we have a difference, but for the foreseeable future and through history, pork has always been the less expensive of the 2 options.
Yeah. Unless you're comparing bacon to 70-30 ground beef.
Sure. Something incredibly inexpensive.
Yeah.
Do you know what the term hot boning means? You ever heard that term? Hot bone? It's not pre-rigor. If that's because when I heard it, it was my first guess. It's not pre-rigor.
I should know the answer to that, but I don't necessarily want to say because I don't know for sure, and I'd probably be wrong.
So on like a lot of the less expensive ground beef, like the 70-30 or whatever, they get it out after doing like a slight heat treatment to it. So that some of those proteins have already started to denature, and that's why it's sometimes really hard to get those to make sausage.
Interesting.
Because it doesn't want to bind well. So that isn't always the case, and it isn't the case in the more expensive, even of the mass-produced stuff. It's just like the real cheap stuff. Apparently, to get as much as they can off it, they use a process called hot boning. Found that very interesting.
Learned that the hard way.
You did. Yep.
Tried to make hot dogs one time from 70-30 ground beef that was from a very large processor, one of the big 4, and it was compressed in tubes for one, and that destroyed things. And then it had to have obviously been hot, done through hot boning, but it did not want to make sausage.
No,
it was not good.
It didn't never, even as you were mixing it with our 50-pound Walton's meat mixer, I can look at it and tell when it has the right protein extraction. Like I still test, but I'll look at it and be like, that's. I was doing something with Dylan one day, and we're using the big commercial mixers, the paddle mixers. And he's like, all right, that's probably good. I'm like, that doesn't look done at all. And he kind of laughed. He's like, yeah, it's different with these. And I picked it up, and it had like really good protein extraction. Yours never got anywhere near that. I remember that. So I say yours because it failed, even though I was involved.
Thanks.
It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Seasoning recall update as FDA sets most severe level. Again, we're going to talk about more recalls. It's unbelievable the number of recalls in the food industry right now. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has issued its most severe type of food recall after. Do we want to say the name? After a food company notified the agency that several of their seasonings might have been contaminated with salmonella. It is not Excalibur. I'll say that. It's a Chicago-based company. They noticed it on May 2nd. They informed the FDA right away, and it's 4,685 pounds of a steak and burger seasoning. It's only packaged in 5-pound cases, so it's very unlikely that any of you guys have this seasoning. But just in general, if you're eating anything other than Walton's Ultimate Steak and Roast Rub, shame on you.
I think we can say the name if people can figure it out and find out. But we do buy from them. But as soon as I saw what seasoning it was, I was like, oh, thank goodness. Because we've gone through a recall
I know.
from them before, and it affected us. But this time, that should not affect us at all.
Do you want to say the name then?
I don't care.
Say my name. Say my name.
Okay, Beyonce.
I had to. I'm sorry. It was stuck in my head. I could not do it. All right. It was Newlyweds. U.S. halts inspections of avocados and mangoes from Michoacan, Mexico. I doubt I said that correctly. But avocados and mangoes are about to get more expensive. I found the reasoning that they're doing this really interesting. I didn't think that we would do things like this. Basically, it's over worker safety in this area of Mexico. There was like a pro-police protest. And there was some huge like crackdown on a pro-police protest. I don't understand it at all. But basically the what was done to the workers at that protest made us be like, all right, we're not taking any avocados from you guys for a while.
That's weird.
None of it makes any sense. Almost to the point where I read it like 2 or 3 times to make sure I didn't misunderstand anything. And as far as I can tell, I didn't. Though, of course, I wouldn't know if I did. Most plant-based eaters want vegan foods kept away from meat. So there is something that vegans and meat eaters have in common. We both want that food kept far away from the actual meat. Basically, they're talking about how some retailers either have started or have plans to start putting the rest of the regular meat around the fake meat. So like the fake meat will just be moved in with the regular meat. And we don't like that. They don't like that. So hopefully they don't go forward with that. When this all first kind of started, you and I would argue about, I gave consumers more credit. Like, no, you can look at that package and immediately understand that that's not a real food item, like not a real meat item. You said, no, people are absolutely going to get confused. I've since come over to your way of thinking, and doing this, moving it in with regular meats is definitely going to cause some confusion.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And it can hurt bacon companies, hurt ham companies, because if some random person just goes and gets it, doesn't realize what they're buying, takes it home and cooks it, they're like, what is wrong with bacon nowadays? Mm-hmm. Like, it can hurt the industry as a whole. So keeping them separate makes a lot more sense, at least to me.
I was at a store the other day that I've been to a few stores that they have them like right next to each other. Some that are separate. Was at one that was separate, and when I first I was going through just like in like browse mode, wasn't at the store for anything particular. Walking all the aisles, looking to see what looks tasty for the day. And
that's dangerous.
Yeah, it is. But I got to the fake meat section. I noticed fake meat first. I'm looking and I'm like, oh, okay, sausage here. And then I'm like, oh, and then I caught something that I was like, that's not. I'm like, and I'm looking through. I'm like, yeah, that's not what I want. And I was looking. I'm like, well, where is it? And I realized, no, it's in a different spot. I was like, oh, good. But some places it's right side by side. But I don't know where I was. Like you normally can spot it because you see a Beyond meat or something that I recognize, but it was a bunch of stuff I didn't recognize the name of. So
I used to worry, like when I would buy Lisa like Morningstar crumbles or stuff, and I've talked about, I enjoy that one item from them. I think it's good. But like if I had Walton's things on as I was grabbing them, I'm like, oh, please nobody pay any attention to what I'm doing. I feel like a traitor putting that in the but on Meta's thread, 72% of the 334 votes preferred a separate plant-based section. This sentiment was echoed on X or Twitter, where 84.5% of the 937 votes said the same. Meanwhile, 76% of Instagram. So everybody, no matter where you ask them, everybody just wants to keep those two things separate. And I think that's the right choice. No reason to put those together.
Yeah.
Indian authorities bulldoze homes of 11 people after they find beef in their fridges.
What?
Yes.
Oh, because it's,
sacred cow.
India. That makes sense. Wow.
That seems like a very aggressive response, though. Like, no, can't you just take the beef out of my freezer? Nope, we have to bulldoze your house down.
That's crazy. Make an example of people, I guess.
I guess. I don't think it's a good example.
Can I start doing this? Can I bulldoze people's houses I don't agree with?
Well, hold on. There is no legal provision to destroy the property of a person accused of cow slaughter. So they're just like, forget it, we're doing it. Don't care. Yet the states run by Modi's Hindu nationalists, the Janata Party in particular, routinely raze homes as punishment for suspected crimes such as cow slaughter. Crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah, thank God we live in America.
Move to America.
Or don't. Make your place better.
No, if they're eating beef, they can come here. Push out the others that don't.
Maybe it would have to be some sort of trade system.
I don't know.
What's that? Do you eat beef? No, because I know a few good vegetarians, right? Like I don't feel like you have to eat meat to be a.
We don't have to exclude them.
Right.
We should encourage.
We should encourage. Yes, agreed. All right. Japan's inflation makes octopus costlier than Wagyu beef.
They can send us more beef then.
I would 100% take more of their Wagyu beef because it is absolutely delicious.
Is octopus that good?
We liked it.
I liked the sauce that you made with the octopus.
All right. We also bought a already steamed octopus from Thai Bin, a Thai market. Had it sitting on my shoulder. Like we did a lot with that octopus before we cooked it.
This is true.
Yeah. It wasn't exactly a fine octopus cuisine. But this says Japan's inflation is tied to multiple factors, including growing global demand for grains, rising energy costs, and shortage of workers. The weaker yen, which depreciated to 160 to the dollar at one point in April, has directly affected the purchasing power of consumers. Octopus now costs more than Wagyu beef. That just seems crazy to me.
It's wild. So the first thing I'm taking from this story has nothing to do with anything that you said.
Okay.
But earlier in the story, it mentioned eggs, and it says a 10-pack of eggs. When are they going to shrinkflation our eggs and make us
Don't give them any ideas.
Make us start buying 10 packs instead of dozens?
Ideas. I like my dozen eggs.
I've never thought about that before, but I guarantee that happens someday. Someday, one major manufacturer will be like, yeah, we're just going to go 10. Same price, go down to 10.
And if they all did it, we wouldn't even notice.
Most people probably wouldn't.
Yep. Somebody would have to point it out to everybody because I don't think I'm observant enough to just pick that out. But they were talking about their problems with their beef supply, which is not going to increase in some time. So price increases on beef are already under consideration. So that should make food even more difficult to get over there on top of already high inflation. So bad times for Japan. They were asking the SEC to investigate the world's largest meat company's animal welfare promises. This is from the Humane Society of the United States. I just want to read this article. I want to read this paragraph. And just let me read it.
Okay.
At a massive scale, JBS sells beef, pork, and poultry products that mostly come from animals who suffer some of the cruelest factory farming conditions. Last year, JBS announced that it would seek to become listed on the New York Stock Exchange, a move that would allow it to raise even more capital from U.S. investors and, in turn, expand its cruel and unsustainable factory farming practices. As part of the initial public offering, or IPO, a step in the process to become a U.S.-listed public company, JBS must disclose information to investors about its business and the SEC to ensure JBS's filings do not mislead investors. Last sentence was not important, but I included it just so we didn't edit anything out. Those first two sentences are so ridiculously biased that I'm not taking anything else you say seriously in that article.
It's so loaded. Why? I mean, I guess I kind of get why, because if they're filing for an IPO, that's why they reach out to the SEC. But really, the SEC has nothing to do with anything there. You want to do something, reach out to the USDA. What else?
Well, they're hoping that they can get the Securities and Exchange Commission to put a halt to it with just public pressure.
That would be an absolute overstep of authority. That is the USDA spot. Anything that's related to the Department of Agriculture should be under Department of Agriculture, not Securities and Exchanges.
You don't think
How does
that
it have anything to do with animals?
You don't think that when like pork belly futures initially got listed, that the SEC had some power in saying that?
They have say over the trading, but not because someone doesn't like JBS. The fact that one, they don't like JBS because they sell animals. Period.
Right. They don't like animals.
They don't like the
Proteins.
initial concept
Right.
of it.
Yep.
But it has nothing to do with the selling portion. If they were selling widgets, they wouldn't have a problem with anything if they were selling widgets. It's the fact of what they're selling, not how they're selling.
Correct.
If it was how they're selling something, then the SEC can get involved. But until then, it's USDA's job to handle stuff.
But there's no way, let's just be honest, the USDA is not going to listen to the Humane Society and then go slap JBS. That's not happening.
Shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, no, I agree, but this is their avenue to try to impose their will on JBS, the Humane Society.
Yeah, I know. I'm just calling it ridiculous. Yeah.
Which it is, but just you were saying that they should complain to the USDA. That's useless.
Exactly. So they just shouldn't complain.
So just give up, lose. You've lost. China opens a tit-for-tat anti-dumping probe into European pork. What do you know about dumping? Like as an economic practice.
Yeah, like if you're like dumping stock, or you just like
kind of
tanking it and selling out.
So what it is basically when you produce something in your country and then sell it in another country for less than it cost you to produce it. So you're selling it at a loss, specifically to hurt that local market.
Gotcha.
Right. So people who are from that country or companies that are in that country can't compete.
Gotcha.
So pretty much what China's been doing for as long as anybody was getting goods from China. Right. So there was a accusation of Chinese companies doing this to China doing this to European Union countries. So as a response to that, China is now saying, well, you're doing this to us with pork, so we're gonna do this huge anti-dumping thing to you. Anyways, I'd never heard that before. I was not aware of that as that was a term, so I was interested in looking it up. But governments typically place anti-dumping duties on imported goods when they suspect the item in question is being sold for less than it costs to produce in order to protect domestic firms. Now, when they say that, they're not saying that it's done to protect, they're saying that like putting anti-dumping policies is protecting the domestic firms, just to be clear. Bird flu pandemic risk high as cows appear and officials warn of human role. Don't go into that because we're going to tie that into the next one. Also says bird flu, weather, heat, and elections. So both of these articles are kind of together.
Can you practice these headlines out loud prior next time?
I forgot there was a word in that I didn't want to read. I saw it coming up and I panicked.
You panicked. I got nervous for you. I thought you were having a stroke.
You can probably see if you look at the headline, the word that I was like, I forgot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that was a legit human
That was a
reaction.
legit like, oh no. All right. So the scale of the outbreak means hikes in egg prices, renewed warnings to cook ground beef and eggs. I can't get over it. He says, can you practice reading headlines
out loud
and eggs thoroughly? And the extraordinary business-threatening measures dairy and poultry farmers are being asked to take to prevent its threats. Can humans get bird flu? Yes. But the risk in the U.S. is still very low. Federal officials say, and the public should be alert but not alarmed. So why are the officials worried? The great concern is that the virus will evolve and become more contagious amongst humans. For now, it's hard for humans to contract the virus, and it can't be passed from person to person. You can only get it from a chicken at this point. Is climate change playing a role? A key difference between this outbreak and previous ones is an increase in global average temperatures and more extreme weather events in making this and future pandemics worse. In other news, I played some golf yesterday, so oranges are going to be more expensive.
One thing
They're
that's not,
just not tied.
I mean, that makes so much sense that they're related, right?
I got chickens, Greg.
That's not even the saying, but all you had to do is add Greg at the end, and I knew exactly what you meant.
Yeah,
Yep,
for sure.
I knew exactly what you meant. All right, going back to the previous article, there are now 102 herds in the U.S. with H5N1, which is bird flu cases. Though given the prevalence of the inactivated virus in commercially available pasteurized milk, experts believe the true number may be even higher. Poultry operations have reported cases likely linked to dairy farms, indicating the virus may be spilling back from cows into birds. So it's going from bird flocks to cow herds and now back to bird flocks. Doesn't that just mean at this point it's endemic?
He's crossing species.
Like if it's going back and forth between them, we're not getting rid of this.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh, that's so scary. Because we've brought it up before, but this is the one where you don't, like, this shuts down.
Yeah, something that crosses between like your major food supply and potentially then you would be really bad.
Did you ever hear I don't know, it's conspiracy theory that they tested a gallon of ice cream once for COVID and it came back as positive?
Is that just a lack of accuracy? Or is that legitimacy? Because I would assume it's just a lack of accuracy.
Could be, but it also could have been that it was in the food supply. And they just... And how many did they find that did have? See, I think it was in the food supply.
Was it?
And I think they didn't want to say it.
From people, gets in food, and like is just sits there dormant, like ready to go.
Sure.
Makes sense.
That's nothing. I saw this guy clone people. They would lick surfaces, and then he would go there via train or plane or automobile, and then swab it, and then go back to a lab, and then shake something, and the video would just restart. And I assume he cloned the guy.
What is this, and why do I know that?
Because you've seen it. It was during COVID. It's just videos. We lived the same fever dream.
I swear I've seen that.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Were they really popular?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Does anyone?
I didn't search that. Guy licks building.
No, it's just you get the flu. Or it's probably the same thing, or just nobody cares anymore. Right? You know what? We can't say that. Nobody cares here. I'm about to go back to New York.
Ooh, you have to be an
there.
insider for us.
Yeah.
Let us know what's going on.
We'll see what happens there. Because if I'm walking around and start seeing a bunch of people wearing masks, you know what? I don't care.
Just pull.
I was about to say I'm about to get mad. I don't care. Dude, go. Just stay away from me.
I'm just more curious what if people, because to be honest, I don't know. I've gotten sick a few times since the last time I had COVID, but none of it actually seemed like it was COVID from before. Like I'm getting sick with other things now. So has it just fully run its course, or is it just so small that it's like common cold level at this point?
Most people probably have enough of immunity now where even if you do get it, it's not going to hurt you very much. All right, moving on to wild card. Mountain lion map shows population in U.S. states. Once again, they're lying to us by telling us there are no mountain lions in Kansas.
Well, there absolutely are.
We've
seen pictures.
Many videos of mountain lions in Kansas at this point. Some in Wichita. They're here. And they're certainly in the western half of the state. So why are we continuing to just try to say there's none? Is it so that they won't let us hunt them?
Yeah.
Probably.
I bet you it is.
I mean, to an extent. Partly that. How are they like nowhere in the southeast and then boom, Florida, massive population?
Well, I mean, it's a pretty small circle.
I don't know. I mean,
it's not massive. And it's
bigger than Arkansas.
Down there, it's called a panther. Like that's the
it's because they made the Stanley Cup.
Right.
Yeah.
They're a much smaller mountain lion. Like you're not going to find a big 220-pound Tom down in Florida.
Did they actually make it to Florida, or did people have pets and they got loose?
No, I'm sure they made it to Florida.
Okay.
Back in the day,
going through Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, they're like, nah, we ain't stopping
we're
here.
Not stopping here. We're free cats. We're going to Florida.
I heard of the Florida Keys. Let's go.
It's 5-0 goes west, but the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Cecil goes east. Yeah, they're a much smaller version of what's out in the western half of the country. So not that scary. This isn't even a funny story. I'm just bringing it up to let people know to be careful driving on rural roads. This poor woman died in the Ozarks driving along a road and hit a cow. A cow had gotten loose and she died, and some 10-year-old boy is like critically injured. So while we think of cows as just like food items, one killed a lady in upstate New York last week. Somebody hit one with a car and died this week. Like, they're huge animals. I got run over by a horse Sunday or Monday.
Guys, got a concussion.
So, trying to separate out that baby horse from, because apparently the other horses aren't nice to this baby horse, which is really upsetting. So I was standing in it's not a chute, like the little area, and somebody was back there trying to like get the baby horse past them. She spooked this one horse, and it came running right at me, slammed me in the chest, banged me up against the wall. I mean, it hit me like a linebacker and like just crushed me and went right by. It luckily, like, I didn't get injured or anything, and I kind of just started laughing, but it was like a serious hit.
Yeah.
They're big, strong animals.
Uh-huh.
You forget that sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, when people, I mean, most often probably hit deer for wildlife when they're driving around. Deer are really not that big, and they're lower to the ground.
Yep.
You get some of the bigger animals that are 10 times as heavy as a deer, and then standing taller. I've always much more likely to have damage. I've always heard. Obviously, I've never hit a moose because there's no moose in Kansas, but I've heard that hitting a moose is really bad because they stand tall enough that they don't hit the hood of your car. They come straight into you through the windshield.
Yeah.
So
I think deer get a bad rap, dude. Like, I'd be nervous too if everything was trying to eat me at all times.
I mean, that's fair.
They're in the apocalypse. You know what I mean? They're in the food chain.
And now in the latest season of Deer USA, they have chronic wasting disease. So they have zombie deer out there.
They can't catch a break. Even when you're okay, you're not okay.
Any prey item, like anything that's just prey, rabbits.
It's nervous,
like,
man.
Deer at least have some way to fight back. They have hooves, and
I keep seeing that video where that deer breaks its back. It's like jumps this fence and hits this tree, and it just like it can't get up and stammer away, and it's a massive creature compared to everything near it, but overswung against the tree, dude.
Massive structure fire stops traffic between Vermont and New York. Don't worry about it. What this is important about, if you're ever in New York, I saw Whitehall. Don't ever speed in that town. I don't even know if I was in middle school yet when I knew not to speed in Whitehall, a town that's like 2 hours away from me. That's all anyone talked about sometimes. Because if you went anything over the speed limit there, they were pulling you over and giving you a ticket.
That's wild.
So just a reminder. Probably one of my wildest hunt trips to date. I bumped into a herd of elk that have adopted a donkey. It is the cutest thing of all time. You've got this huge herd, not huge, but a herd of elk. And right in the middle of it is a donkey that went missing from California like 3 years ago. It hooked up with this elk herd and has been living with it and just acts like it's part of the herd. So they've got a video of the donkey just walking around with the elk. And
that is cool.
Honestly, it's one of the more adorable things I've ever seen.
That is insane.
Donkeys are really cute.
That's your favorite Christmas song?
Dominic the Donkey. And as a... All right. And then finally, the monolith is back. The mysterious monolith that appeared in the desert.
This
sometime
one's shiny now.
2 years ago. The last one was shiny, wasn't it?
Might have been, but it wasn't that shape, I don't think. I think it was a little bit more true to size of the 2001.
But this is art installations that I can get behind.
Oh, I love this.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool enough. I mean, the crystal skulls, some are real, some are fake. I like to think majority real, but then like these are kind of like they're probably fake. Like, you can get to all these points via, just hiking or whatever. But that's not fun. Let's just think they were really put there. But why do you think those locations, do you think the people that did put them there did a deep dive, or they just, that's a neat looking place?
It's a neat looking place.
You don't think there's like a longitude, latitude?
This will freak people out.
Yeah, more
is
so,
what it is.
More so than like this one here, this one there. Add those sums together, it puts us near a crustacean heavy planet near the exo.
Now this is somebody who got bored with flat Earth We're just like, can we kick it up a level and make other people think crazy things? So
it's actually poking out of the ground, right? And it's actually
goes way down.
It's actually, you know how trucks have like the, tow package?
Mm-hmm.
It's our tow package. So, but a lot of them need to do, right? A lot of them need different points at parts of the earth.
Yeah.
And then it magnetizes to whatever's pulling us, right? So then that's the tow. It's just a neat tow package.
So it's our tow package.
Or we're a sea mine, one or the other, right? So
I'm on board. I like the tow package.
I like the tow package.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Right on.
All right, can you look at the camera, take off your glasses, and say, and that's the news?
And that's the news.
Yes. Perfect way to end.
Thanks for checking out the Meatgistics podcast. To shop everything but the meat, head on over to waltons.com. To get your meat processing questions answered by experts and enthusiasts alike, head on over to our online community at meatgistics.com. Waltons, everything